So I actually want to talk about the gifts that you might get in life. So often we think about gifts in our life as something that has immediate positive emotion associated with it, some sort of positive effect that is associated with it where we feel joy, it gives a smile on your face, or it is something that makes you laugh. But I'm going to say here is that sometimes the gifts that you get are not always intuitive and they are not as clear as what you think they are. I'm going to tell you a story that I think you'll get a crack out of. All right, so if you don't know me, I'm Professor Dave Maslach. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There are so many people that helped me out that I wanted to pay the favor for, to help you out as much as I possibly can. So gifts are kind of a strange thing. So gifts are these things that somebody gives to you or maybe some other entity gives to you. And it's usually something that doesn't have anything tied to it, any sort of emotion that is tied to it other than the fact, or any sort of reciprocity that's tied to it other than the fact that you're just giving it to somebody else. But these gifts are not necessarily always all that clear in terms of what the outcomes are. We often associate gifts as something that has very a positive emotion to it, where you have positive effect, but often we get gifts that don't necessarily resonate with who we are as an individual. So here comes a story. When I was younger, so I have my sister. She's a year older than I am, and we used to go to my grandma's house. And my grandma, she was an orphan. She grew up with she basically had like very little funds her whole life. They lived a very small life in this sense that it was it was a good life, but at the same time it wasn't as you would imagine that people live a good life today. And she didn't have a lot of money, and she had a number of different grandkids. So what we would get on Christmas Eve, we'd go to my grandma's house, and she'd give us socks. Now, as a 7-year-old, that is not the most fascinating gift that you'd ever get. And so I still remember it, but here's the sort of funnier, sillier things. She gave my sister, when she was about 9 years old, a carton of eggs. It was a carton of brown eggs because that's what she had in our house. And we thought it was the sort of silliest thing in the world because here's this 9-year-old that gets a carton of eggs. And I think it was just because she was sort of stuck in a moment where, she forgot about my sister's birthday, and then she had to sort of figure out something to give to her, and she ran around the house and got a carton of eggs and gave it to her. Now, as a 75-year-old at the time, that probably was something that was very, very meaningful to her, but obviously to a 9-year-old, a carton of brown eggs, not the best gift in the entire world. But actually, it turned out, so when you're 9 years old, it was, it's sort of a crushing thing. But as it turns out, it actually was a really good gift because it's something that stuck with us. And it's something that is always makes me giggle whenever I think of that. The carton of eggs that my sister got when she was 9 years old from her grandma. And it is pretty silly, right, to think about that. And even though at the time it's not a very good gift at all, if you're a grandma right now, and if you ever become a grandma, don't give a carton of eggs to your kids, to your grandkids. It ain't gonna work out for you. It's just not gonna work out in your favor. But the gift behind it actually was one of the better gifts that I could ever imagine getting at this moment because it has caused so much humor and laughter in our life. And it always cracks me up. It always thinks it's sort of the silliest thing that you can ever get. So what I'm getting at here is that these gifts that we get in life are not always intuitive. So if you're given something that it doesn't seem like it's the best thing in the world, or it's very difficult, or maybe you've got a disability at this moment, or maybe you find it you're very shy, just like me, to actually talk in a group. All of these gifts that you get that we somehow think that they are flawed, they're imperfect, that they're no good, they actually are often a very much a blessing in disguise. It just takes a very long time for them to come out, for you to actually realize what they are. So, maybe some of you are coming off of drinking alcohol for a long time, or maybe some of you are coming off of an addiction, and it really ruined your life. It was a very difficult thing for you to go through. Um, those are often amazing gifts in the long run because they give you character and they change who you are because they set up a narrative in your mind of this is who I was and now this is who I am. And I'm never going to be like who I was before because I think that I'm a much better person than that. So these gifts will carry forward. So don't ever neglect the gifts that you're given, even if they are imperfect, even if they are a carton of eggs, even if you just can't understand why you have these gifts, these sort of difficulties, these imperfect things that you actually have. And realize it's up to you to take the opportunity to turn those into a gift. It's all about how you think about what the thing that you are given. So if you've got a scar, if you've got a big birthmark, think about how amazing it is that you actually have that. How are you going to work with that thing to turn it into an opportunity in your life so that you can grow and develop and become a better person? It's going to take time. It's going to be hard to figure out, but you'll get there. I just know you will. So go out and take those gifts that you're given, turn them into something amazing, and have a good laugh every once in a while. And when you see your carton of eggs in the refrigerator, think about me and my sister, my poor sister. Anyways, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.